Before we get rolling this morning, a quick heads up. Over the last couple of weeks, you may have heard me talk about a $20 subscription deal. Well, that very good deal ends today. So, to remind you, you can get our core subscription for a whole year for just $20. 1 year for $20. That renews at $120 per year thereafter. If you don't subscribe yet, hit pause and get it done now. You can cancel anytime. Go to washingtonpost.com/subscribe. That's washingtonpost.com/subscribe. All right, on to the news. Authorities are learning more about the suspect in Charlie Kirk's killing. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Monday, September 15th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Utah Governor Spencer Cox appeared on NBC's Meet the Press yesterday. He gave updates from the investigation into 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Robinson is accused of fatally shooting the conservative activist Charlie Kirk in Utah last week. Cox said Robinson's political views differed from those of his conservative family, and he said he had a leftist ideology, but he did not explain further what that meant. Cox also described Robinson's involvement in gaming culture.
Clearly, there was a lot of gaming going on. Friends that have confirmed that there was kind of that deep, dark internet, the Reddit culture, and these other dark places of the internet where this person was going deep.
The Republican governor cautioned against drawing conclusions about a motive in the killing. And he said more details would be revealed tomorrow when charges are filed against Robinson. Since Kirk's shooting, President Donald Trump has blamed what he calls the radical left and vowed to go after, quote, each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity. In the wake of the killing, political leaders have been pulling back from public appearances, and workers are getting fired for their social media posts about the shooting. Big city mayors are scrambling to react to President Trump's threats to send in the National Guard. That's our second story. For nearly 3 weeks, Trump signaled that Chicago would be the next site of a National Guard deployment. But on Friday morning, he announced a different destination, Memphis, Tennessee. Trump has left Democratic mayors uncertain where he will send forces next. That is making it more challenging to prepare for interventions that will affect residents, city operations, and their own political careers. Meanwhile, documents reviewed by the Post revealed a Pentagon plan to send 1,000 troops for a policing mission in Louisiana. The plan calls for the deployment in cities such as New Orleans and Baton Rouge to last until September next year. The documents illustrate the Trump administration's evolving strategy for sending the military into cities with Democratic majorities. Number 3. Long-term unemployment is at its highest level since the pandemic. It's becoming increasingly difficult for unemployed people to find new work. New data shows that more than 1 in 4 workers without jobs have been unemployed for at least 6 months. Since 1950, the long-term unemployment rate has exceeded 25% in only a few other instances, and always after a recession. And 6 months of unemployment often signals a turning point in a person's job search. They may have run out of unemployment benefits and become more likely to stop looking for work altogether. That's a worrying sign for the economy. But investors are still feeling optimistic. Despite a recent spate of bad economic news, stocks are continuing to climb. Construction has begun on Trump's White House ballroom. That's our fourth story. This ballroom has been a long-held dream of the president. Details of the project remain shrouded in mystery, and it hasn't been submitted to the government body that would normally review plans for changes to federal property in the capital region. Nevertheless, crews have started cutting down trees, removing shrubs, and digging up parts of the south lawn of the White House. The plan is for a $200 million, 90,000 square foot ballroom on a site just off the building's east wing. The ballroom would be one of the biggest changes made to the White House in a century. Trump says he needs a larger space to host world leaders. Number 5. A Fox News host apologized for a remark about killing homeless people. Last week, Fox and Friends co-anchor Brian Kilmeade was part of a group talking about the fatal stabbing of a Ukrainian woman in North Carolina. His colleague Lawrence Jones was discussing resources for homeless people when Kilmeade interjected.
You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yesterday, Kilmeade offered a rare on-air apology.
Now, during that discussion, I wrongly said they should get lethal injections. I apologize for that extremely callous remark.
He went on to say that, quote, so many homeless people deserve our empathy and compassion. The killing of Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarudska has gained national attention. Trump has called for the death penalty. Number 6. 1 in 6 parents say they skipped or delayed their kids' vaccines. A new poll from the Washington Post and the Kaiser Family Foundation revealed new insights into how many parents aren't vaccinating their kids and why. 9% of parents have skipped the polio or measles, mumps, and rubella shots. Public health experts say that raises the risk of large outbreaks of potentially fatal diseases. The parents who are most likely to skip these shots, homeschool their children, are white and very religious, identify as Republican, or are under 35. The most common reason they give is their concerns about the vaccines themselves and their side effects. These findings come as Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is radically reshaping vaccine policy. Kennedy was formerly an anti-vaccine activist. And at number 7, new shows were big winners at the Emmys last night. Hollywood loves stories about itself, and Apple TV's The Studio had a huge night at the Emmy Awards. The comedy stars Seth Rogen as a studio executive pulled between his desire to make meaningful art and the requirements of his job to make a lot of money. The show broke the record for the most Emmys for a comedy in 1 year. Netflix limited series Adolescence and HBO medical drama The Pitt also arrived on the Emmys stage in a big way. And Stephen Colbert's Late Show won its first 2 Emmys, just 2 months after it was canceled by CBS. Colbert said he had set out to make a show about love, but that it ended up being about loss.
Sometimes you only truly know how much you love something when you get a sense that you might be losing it. And 10 years later, in September of 2025, my friends, I have never loved my country more desperately. God bless America. Stay strong, be brave, and if the elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy and punch a higher floor. Woo!
For more Emmys coverage from last night, including the all-important best looks from the red carpet, check out our newsletter this morning. Find a link to that, as always, in our show notes. All right, you're all caught up. I know I already told you this, but to really hammer it home, don't forget that it's your last day to snag a Washington Post subscription in our Labor Day sale. You know where to go, washingtonpost.com/subscribe. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.